Week 9 brought fireworks. Points were flying. Touchdowns everywhere. It felt like everybody was scoring. For once, it looked like we were going to escape without complaint. Oh, but then the injuries. Never-ending injuries. Few players return. Few players leave. It's just the way it is. Ay, ay, ay. Welcome to Monday's Hangxiety, where the highs are high. The lows, well, they're painful. This is your weekly therapy session. Welcome into Monday's Hangxiety, the weekly therapy session that every fantasy manager absolutely needs. Don't forget, drop those bright spots in the chat. Let's flaunt those wins. But before we get started too much, let's give a little love to some breaking news. Old Josh, your team goes out there yet again. The rich get richer and go ahead and get Jaelen Phillips from Miami in a trade for a fucking third-round pick.
I mean, we knew how he was going to make some deals. Like, he was positioned to do this. They had 12 draft picks just in the 2026 NFL draft. Like, they were not going to hang on to all of these picks. So they've gone through. They've added a couple of corners, Michael Carter from the Jets, Jair Alexander from the Ravens. But their pass rush is god-awful. It is so bad. So they go out and they get Jaelen Phillips from Miami. They give up a third-round pick. The reason it's a third-round pick, because Miami is paying a large chunk of the remaining salary for Jaelen Phillips on his fifth-year option. Phillips is a good pass rusher. Problem is, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries. Tore his ACL, his Achilles in 2023 when Vic Fangio, the current Eagles defensive coordinator, was on the Dolphins coaching staff, and then tore his ACL last year. He's been a little slow starter this year in terms of finishing the sacks, but since week 5, ranks third in pressure rate in the NFL, according to Next Gen Stats. He's 8th among linebackers overall this season in pass rush win rate and 12th in pressure rate. I'll go back to 2023 when he was with Vic Fangio in Miami. He had 6.5 sacks in 8 games before he tore his Achilles. He can get after the quarterback. So this is a great move for Philly. The third-round pick, all right, so be it. If they don't decide to re-sign Phillips, which I'm guessing they probably won't unless he just absolutely lights this, final stretch on fire, he's likely going to get a new contract, and he will count towards the compensatory pick formula for the Eagles in 2027.
Shut up.
So they could end up getting a third, maybe, or a fourth, maybe even a third, depending. So the rich get richer. But
well, I was going to say,
he has to perform, plain and simple. So.
My one solace on this was going to be that at least Howie didn't fleece these guys like he seems to do everybody else. But hearing the compensatory pick thing, it kind
of that won't even come into a play unless he gets a certain level of a contract and then puts up a certain amount of stats this season. So that's the only way this really works out. Like, this was the move that Miami needed to make, because if they lose him this offseason, which they're in cap hell, they couldn't afford to re-sign him anyway. This is exactly what Cleveland did last year when they traded Amari Cooper to the Bills. You get the compensatory pick ahead of time instead of waiting a whole other year when you're a rebuilding team.
Yeah, again, rich get richer. Howie does Howie things. It's just absolutely asinine. But Greer got fired, and it immediately comes out that it sounds like everybody in Miami is on the block, and they show off right away. Don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe over here on YouTube. If you're on Apple, Spotify, any other podcast platform, hit that follow button. That way you never miss any of our content. Also, if you want to get your comment, your frustration out, get it to the top of the list. Hit that super chat button for us. We will absolutely move you to the top of the list. Last bit of housework, or whatever you want to call it. I'm frustrated right now. The last bit of housekeeping, if you want to join us over in the Discord, hit that link that Josh just dropped into the comments there. Again, drop your lineup spots, your bright spots there. We will talk about those before we get too far. Ryan, give us the recap.
All right, let's talk week 9. As Jay said, the points were coming fast. We started way back on Thursday. Ravens looked better, 28 to Dolphins 6. Obviously, that started the exodus in Miami. 49ers win 34 to 24, traveling across the country to the Giants. Chargers 27, Titans 20, a little bit closer than anyone expected that game to be. Vikings pull it out with JJ McCarthy 27 to 24 in Detroit. Patriots hold on to beat the Atlanta Falcons, or should I say hold on to beat Drake London, 24 to 23. The Patriots won that game. Steelers show us how we slow down Jonathan Taylor, 27 to 20. Broncos win on a kick, 18 to 15 against the Texans. Bears and Bengals, if you're watching this show, you know what happened in that game. What a game, 47 to 42. I guess the opposite of that game, Panthers and Packers, 16 to 13. Another game that ends on a game-winning field goal. Packers' only 2 losses this season are on field goals from what I would call very bad teams at the end of the game. Rams 34, Saints 10. That game went to script. Jaguars 30, Raiders 29. We saw some history made in that game. Bills didn't blow out the Chiefs like we told you guys they would on Wednesday, but they did hold down the home field advantage, 28 to 21. Seahawks 38, Commanders 14. More on the tragedy of that game in a moment. And week 9 wraps up tonight at 8:15. Cowboys at home against the Arizona Cardinals.
Absolutely wonderful day, scoring touchdowns yesterday. Let's go right to the man of the hour, Ryan. It's time for you to eat some crow. A little bit, just a little bit of crow, right?
It is, but I'm going to be perfectly honest. Call it my ego, call it what you want. I have found a way to turn this thing completely on its head. There is no denying at all what Caleb Williams did yesterday. He deserved the thumbnail. Personally, if the Eagles could have won this game, I wanted Drake London on the thumbnail. But the game everybody's talking about is Chicago-Cincinnati. Caleb Williams, 280 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, another 53 rushing, and guess what? 2 catches and 22 yards and another touchdown for good measure. What a game. And so do we deserve, and if you guys want to throw, I think it was Caesar had the comment up there. Hopefully nobody dropped him. Yes, we have been telling everybody to drop Caleb Williams. And while I'll back off of that a little bit, maybe don't drop him. Someone else in the comments brought up how hot and cold Caleb is, and that is where I want to go with this. I'm not going to sit here and tell you a 4-touchdown game isn't a great game. He still only completed 58% of his passes. I love what he's doing running the ball. I'm not going to take anything away. 53 more rushing yards this week. He has been a pleasant surprise, much like Patrick Mahomes when it comes to rushing the ball. But I want to hit on the hot and cold because, like I said, my ego wouldn't let me just take the L on this one. Since coming out of their week 5 bye, early bye for the Bears this week, Caleb Williams fantasy finishes won whatever scoring Fantasy Pros uses. 19, decent for a quarterback. 5, terrible. 12, pretty bad. 36. He is all over the place. And then the one that really hurts the fantasy community, myself included, Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze is the 3rd best receiver on the Chicago Bears since coming out of the bye. I'm still scrolling, folks. I just went past Olamide Zaccheaus. Rome Odunze is the wide receiver 50 since coming out of the bye with 3, 11, and 0 fantasy points. I don't trust the consistency. So the fact of the matter is this whole segment is supposed to be happy. Great job, Caleb Williams. And I want to love Caleb Williams, and it is happy. Great job, Caleb Williams. But when we started this show, the shows went through many iterations. Chill the fuck out could either mean it wasn't that bad of a game, could also mean wasn't that good of a game. Now, I'm just saying, I'm not buying Caleb Williams right now. Sorry.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Finishes his QB1 and said, "Don't buy it, folks. It's a mirage."
I feel like a hater, and I am a hater. And like I said, what a game. It looked like he was having fun. And let me tell you, that matters. And Josh, I know you have some great stats here. I don't know if you planned on bringing them up now from our buddy Angelo on why this thing could actually work with Ben Johnson I'm just not going to be fully bought in on season 1. I'm not saying Caleb Williams can't turn it around. I certainly hope he does, but I want to see it at least 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I'll bring up the stats. So just looking at the Lions offense in 2024 with Ben Johnson, passing yards per game, 263 yards per game, rushing yards, 146 yards per game.
Great numbers.
The Lions offense this season without Ben Johnson, 226 yards per game, 125 rushing yards per game. I said all offseason the Lions would regress. Yeah. What's happening? The Lions are regressing. They're getting carried by their star power right now. But that Bears offense from 2024 to 2025, 234 passing yards per game this season, up from 181 last year. 144 rushing yards per game, up from 102. Ben Johnson is the truth.
One last thing I want to throw out, though, and I don't know how I forgot to work this into my hater speech. You don't get to play the Bengals every week. That is a historically bad defense at this point, and that's not who you're going to face every week.
Chase Brown's interview after the fact.
Oh, I missed this. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He basically said, defense, fucking stop somebody. We did our job.
Oh, wow.
Do your fucking job.
Yeah.
Do your fucking
job. You want to talk about locker room about to blow up? Whoo. I was fully convinced that Zach Taylor will not get fired this season because we suffered through 10 plus years of Marvin Lewis. Like, the Bengals just don't fire coaches.
They do not.
This might be what gets Zach Taylor fired.
Yeah, but he's an offensive guy. I understand he writes the whole ship. I think they'll fire their defensive coordinator first. If their defensive coordinator, honestly.
But again, like Lou Anarumo, what he did last year, okay, if you want to say that that's his fault, all right, fine. He's going on to the Colts right now. The Colts defense looks the head and shoulders better.
Well,
the Bengals defense hasn't looked any better. So that's not a coordinator problem. That's a personnel problem.
Well, I've been saying this all the fuck along, and it's not anybody in fantasy's favorite opinion. When you spend the amount of money that the Bengals are spending on their fucking offense, this is what you get. Yep. Plain and simple. Because I'm not just talking Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Do you? But then you go out, you give Mike Gesicki a decent amount of money that you could have spent on a fucking defensive player. You trade or acquire Noah Fant after the fact. But that's still not where I'm going. The amount of money the Bengals have continually, year after fucking year, had to throw into this offensive line because Joe Burrow holds the fucking ball too long. I'm frustrated for the Bengals. Not even a Bengals fan, just frustrated.
Tell us how you really feel, Ryan, about...
Again, what a game. Yeah, I didn't realize I was just going to hate on both these teams. What a fucking game.
I saw a tweet. I was like, man, if we could get Bengals versus Cowboys, that score might legitimately be 84-80.
100%.
The over under the books would probably just not even put it on there. It would just be stupid. It would absolutely be stupid. Let's look at some of these comments in the chat. Zach, I hate everything about fantasy football. The only thing that would have made that better is if you put everything in all caps. Because, yes, I am with you. Alex Cruz, should I trade away St. Brown for Nakua?
I mean, it's good on good. They both had their bye. If you prefer one to the other, do you?
I mean, at this point, Nakua keeps getting banged up.
Yeah.
Like, St. Brown is moderately healthy. So, I mean, I'd almost rather prefer St. Brown. I think Nakua definitely has the higher ceiling.
St. Brown missed a game
quarterback right now. Like, I mean, Jay, you put a great stat in the chat, and I'm just going to steal it for this moment. But the last 5 games, Matthew Stafford has 16 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Like, I was texting yesterday with one of our writers, Chris Molina, because we were talking about, like, you know, the MVP conversation and who might those guys be. And he brought up Stafford. And I was like, I mean, that's valid, right? And I was like, I still think that people are completely sleeping on Jalen Hurts. Like, he's beat both the Rams and the Bucks, 2 quarterbacks from those teams that are in this MVP conversation. Yep. Yet nobody's paying attention to Hurts because of the tush push. Josh Allen has more tush push touchdowns this season than Jalen Hurts. Just throwing that out there. Nobody's discounting his season. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, I mean, this is good on good. Like you're fine with either or, truthfully.
Yeah.
George says 3-6 because you went against Darnold, JSN, Puka,
That's
and
just bad luck, man.
Like, I know it was the right move to trade Chase Brown and London for Bijan long term, but boy, did it hurt watching London drop 38.
I was going back and forth in our DMs with George, and he was, working on getting this deal done. And I'm like, because if I'm not mistaken, Ryan, we talked about like this wasn't the best matchup for London this week going against Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah,
Christian Gonzalez left in the middle of this game with an injury.
Yep. Well, it didn't matter.
London. Well, and London scored one of those touchdowns on Christian Gonzalez, if I'm not mistaken.
His best one. That first touchdown by London. Go back and watch it. Was something else.
Yeah, like I mean, look, you got a massive upgrade at running back. We know what London is capable of, and it's games like this. But the inconsistencies of that Falcons offense, because Penix is still in his first full year starting, you trust the running game more than you do the passing game. Chase Brown has been, this season. That's a great trade. It's just bad luck that it happened on literally the verge of Drake London having a wide receiver 1 week.
Yeah, the one thing I will add is I believe this was Michael Penix going, F you, Kirk Cousins, stay the fuck off my field. George, and then there's also thoughts on McCaffrey performance and what it means for Jefferson. McCarthy's performance, what it means for Jefferson. All year, he's either over 80 yards receiving with no touchdowns or under 50 with a touchdown. Whew, yeah,
I'll steal Josh's thunder here. JJ McCarthy, for all intents and purposes, is a rookie. Mm-hmm. He is still finding his way in the NFL. This is if this is what you got from Jefferson last year, you'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. You're just getting it a year later. 80 yards, depending on the PPR. You're looking at 15 points per game from Jefferson. I'm happy with that.
He's a low-end wide receiver 1. He just doesn't have that top 3 ceiling this year.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. Like, Ryan, we talked about it a little bit on Wednesday because he was your smash play of the week. I mean, he still had 16.7 fantasy points. He was the top
he just didn't,
12
just
wide
didn't find the end zone like I thought he would. So.
No, Jefferson did find the end zone. He just didn't do it multiple times. He also didn't have like the 100+ yards. Like,
that's what I meant is I thought he could score multiple in this game, and it just didn't happen. So,
I mean, he still had a solid week.
6 of 9, 47 yards.
It's a great catch too by him.
Yeah, very, very nice. And then finally, assuming all Commanders players are cooked now.
I mean,
Terry's been cooked from day one.
They were the exact same thing they were 2 weeks ago because Marcus Mariota's the quarterback. I think Deebo's fine. Ertz is a streamer. Nobody else is startable.
Yeah. I think you might have some decent matchups for Bill, but he's a fringe RB2 for me. And I say fringe, like he's more like top 30.
We spent the last 10 days, Josh, telling people, just wait and see what Bill looks like on a Jayden Daniels-led offense. Well, now you're not going to.
Now you're not going to get it, yeah.
I think that's a great segue to the unnecessary shots.
Yeah, no shit. It's almost like we know what we're doing here.
Yeah, CJ Stroud, concussion. Tucker Kraft, knee, likely torn ACL and done for the season. Matthew Golden, shoulder. Jayden Daniels, an elbow. Looks like it's dislocated, and he might be done for the season. Woof. And Cole Kmet, concussion. Brian Thomas Jr., ankle. Puka Nacua, chest. Looks like he fell on the ball. It possibly. I was hoping that it was basically, knocking the wind out of him. Keyshawn Butte with a hamstring, and Aaron Jones AC joint sprain. Guys, I'll let you pick one of these out, Josh. Or Ryan, I'll let you go.
Well, I'll just jump in for you, Jay, because you actually hit it on the nose. Puka Nacua could have come back into that game if they needed him. That's every report I read after that game. So zero concern about Puka Nacua. That's why we didn't even bring it up on that trade. I think we've already hit on the Daniels trade, and I'll just reiterate what I said in our group chat last night. We just can't have nice things. Tucker Kraft was supposed to be this new top 5 tight end. Kid is balling out, and this is what happens the week where I spent an entire show Friday morning talking about how he was underpriced on FanDuel, and FanDuel were idiots. Well, apparently they predict injuries, and that's what's actually going on over there. Rough loss for the fantasy world. I would say because of the fact that Daniels has already missed so many games this year, the Tucker Kraft for fantasy is the biggest loss of week 9 without a doubt.
Yeah, I have so much Tucker Kraft.
Yeah,
So
Josh,
much.
this sucks for you, bro.
I have so much Tucker Kraft, and I'm just like,
Josh has been on this Tucker Kraft, driving the train.
Yeah, since the day Josh finished his projections, basically, it has been the Tucker Kraft story.
Yep.
Yeah, this one really stings. I'm going to be playing the streaming game in a lot of leagues. Now, I will say, I have one dynasty league where I was like, I'm very like middle of the road, like I'm a fringe playoff team. But like when you're in dynasty, you're trying to be like either top 3 in points or bottom 3 to get those like high draft picks. So I said, you know what? I'm going to buy the injury discounts. Probably not, Joel. You are the Packers fan, so there's that. But you also play in a lot more leagues than I do. But no, like I bought the injury discounts on Jayden Daniels and Tucker Kraft, and I used that to my advantage to get additional draft capital. So if you are in dynasty leagues where you have assets that you can trade, so I traded Patrick Mahomes and Harold Fannin for Jayden Daniels, Kraft, and I got a 1 and a 2. So I made them give me those draft picks for a chance to stay undefeated because they were an 8-0 team. They were winning this week, lost Daniels and Kraft. Now I'm still set at tight end. Like I have Loveland and Pitts. Now I've got Tucker Kraft as well. It's a super flex league. I've got Dart and Caleb Williams. So now I'm adding Jayden Daniels for 2026. So I feel really good about it. And now I'm getting that extra draft capital because we can start upwards of 6 wide receivers. And I only have like 3 good ones. So I'll take the extra capital. But
you're feeling great about it until 2026 when you got to sit there and figure out, are you playing Dart? Are you playing Jayden Daniels?
I mean, that's fine. Like, because honestly, Caleb Williams will probably be the one on the bench.
Champagne problems. All right, let's get back over to the chat real quick. Marcus says, what's up, guys? I have too many wide receivers. He's got Jaelen, London, BTJ, Franklin, Higgins. Should I trade London, Tet, and Pittman, or Higgins for Lamb, or a solid wide receiver? I have Saquon and Jacobs at or B.
Wow.
Yeah, these are like shit. I mean, honestly, like I would be fine with try to move Higgins in London. Truthfully, like package them to get Lamb. Like,
should we not be looking? I don't know what your depth is, Marcus. I would want another running back. That's just, you don't need a wide receiver one. You have JSN. And if you can keep, like Josh said, if you can do London and Higgins, then you walk out of this with JSN and Pittman, who I would happily start every single week. Mm-hmm. You have Tetaroa and hopefully fucking Brian Thomas Jr. at some point. My biggest concern here is you have 2 older running backs. Shit can happen. I would be looking, if I'm getting a wide receiver, I'd still want a running back in the trade as well.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You said I had Higgins and London on the bench. Oof. But then you're going back to your trade.
Again, champagne problems. You're going to have instances like that. It sucks, but
trying to trade London right now off of that big game right there, because that's not going to happen every week. George, Packers game shaved years off my life. Losing to Bryce Young when he throws under 100 yards and a pick is embarrassing as hell.
I told somebody in the Club Fantasy
worse or better than losing to the Browns?
I told somebody in the Club Fantasy chat that Love was the safer option and to not start Joe fucking Flacco.
I hope that wasn't me.
No, I did.
Okay. Okay.
And the question was
Flacco, Brissett, or fucking
Flacco,
Love.
And I'm like,
I started Jordan Love over Matthew Stafford and Scott Fishbowl. Like, fuck, man.
Well, I think the lesson learned this week is fuck the safe option.
Yeah, right? Like, upside. Upside, baby.
Play upside this season. You have to.
Yeah, Marcus, going back to his trade question, like St. Brown.
If you can get Lamb or St. Brown for the 3 you mentioned, but if you could just get a fringe running back, grab that with it, and I'm better with the trade. Unless you're like loaded at running back, we didn't see your whole roster, and you don't have to drop it. I'm just saying.
Right. Zach says he has Dart, CMC, Vidal, Chase, Puka, Gadsden, and Henry. You think I won? You'd be wrong.
Fucking Kamani Vidal, my favorite DFS play of the week. Thankfully, I still was able to win in cash, but I also played him in my GPP lineups and had one of my worst GPP weeks ever.
3 points. Jesus.
Joel, it was not the worst. Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's a Packers fan.
Yeah,
so,
that's
I mean, I just can't get over the fact that the Packers have lost to the Browns and the Panthers on last-minute field goals. Rough.
And at the very beginning of the season, when they traded for Micah Parsons, I think all three of us were like, yes, that's going to be a dominant fucking defense. And they turned into, I thought they were
the front runners with the Eagles for the Super Bowl after that trade. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
I still think they win the North. The Lions have so many holes, and it starts with their offensive coordinator and their offensive line.
Yeah, but if for some reason they could get the Browns or even the Panthers into the playoffs and it'd be on the NFC side, they would lose that game.
Probably.
I want to throw one thing out though, as a huge Carolina Panthers hater. They are doing some interesting things on that defense. And now this is going to sound hilarious. On fantasy wise, they're the defense 17, which is not great. But when you have someone projected as the defense 32 and they're the defense 17, that's big.
Yeah, they made big improvements on defense.
You're starting to see them force turnovers. They're still just not. They remind me of the Falcons from the last couple of years. They have 14 sacks on the season and 33 QB hits. Just to let you know how low that is, the Broncos have 88 QB hits. The Steelers have 70 QB hits, and the Panthers have 33. So they need to get after the pass rush. But as far as not allowing points, and I guess this is the revelation of Rico Dowdle, kudos to them on just keeping teams in check far more than I thought they would. They're not the plus matchup that we have been pretending they are.
When you can control the clock with a running game,
100%.
Panthers
defense looks better.
5-4 on this season.
Wild. I double checked that. I was reading it yesterday because I was going to make my joke about the Packers losing to two of the worst teams in the NFL, and I'm like, wait, does that say 5-4? I had to go you could have let me guess 8 times how many wins the Panthers have this season, and I would have gotten it wrong.
They still have a long ways to go. Don't get me wrong. Like Leggett hasn't made that jump. Yep. Dowdle, what do they do next year? Do they bring him back? Jonathan Brooks comes back healthy. Like they're going to have maybe a strength turns into a bigger strength, or they're going to have even more problems. But they need a pass rush so bad.
Josh, 100%. But everybody was talking. This was the Bucks Falcons division,
and it was led by Ryan because of all the shit he talked about the Panthers.
The Falcons, in comparison, are 3-5.
Yeah,
with a loss to Carolina. So there is that.
A blowout loss to Carolina.
and Tedero McMillan's doing exactly what I expected him to do. He's struggling with press coverage. He's not making the greatest contested catches, but a lot of that can also come on Bryce Young. I think it's a team I'm going to be bought back the fuck in on next year for sure. Yeah, Joel hit it on the head. The Panthers are a team that could use a guy like Brian Burns. Where do you find a guy like that?
Yeah. Speaking of the Panthers, Caesar said he traded away Chuba while keeping a hold of Rico Dowdle in Dynasty. Slam dunk.
That is foresight.
It's a ballsy move right there because that's not the advice I would have given.
I traded Chuba before the draft, before the NFL draft in one of my Dynasty leagues. And at first I was like, man, this is going to make me so thin at running back. And of course, all I've done is get thinner because, Cam Scadabo's out. Bashal Tutin hasn't done anything. Like, great. Awesome. Cool. So,
I have a question though, guys. This has been going through my head for a while now. What's funny is I can barely remember. Is it Jonathan Brooks, the running back they drafted? Okay. I was like, I'm blanking on the kid's name. What does this mean for him? Like, this was a kid that a lot of people liked. I've been thinking about this all season, and I don't want to get so far off track on the show sheet, but you have Dowdle popping.
But he's only on a 1-year deal.
You have Chuba who popped last year. Do you think they're just going to let everybody move on? I don't know. It's so interesting to me.
Well, I mean, they locked in Chuba with a 4-year deal, right? So
let me just actionable question for both of you: are you even considering buying Jonathan Brooks in Dynasty right now?
I mean,
he probably got drafted for the most part, so he's been sitting on your taxi squad because we got to remember
that's what I'm saying. Taxi squads are IRs. That's where he's been his whole career.
So. Yep. 100%.
I mean, and again, I think he's cheap enough so that, maybe you can get him for,
piece.
A late second, maybe a couple of thirds. Like some teams are probably looking at Rico Dowdle and being like, oh, Jonathan Brooks is toast. Like there's nothing there. So but again, he was the first running back taken in his draft class.
Yeah.
That's going to hold some weight for some people, but others are going to be like, I want nothing to do with this. But again, what happens if Rico Dowdle prices himself out of Carolina?
That's a good point.
And then they move on. Now Jonathan Brooks is going to have an opportunity. So that's what I'm saying. Like those buy low opportunities, like most people, like you find a lot of hits in the third round. Don't get me wrong. But if you can trade a couple of thirds for an opportunity for a running back that, could see 1,000 yards next season, because that's what Dave Canales is going to use a running back for, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
At least to float it out there.
Just going to throw this out there. Chuba Hubbard, 26. Yes, I understand he's on a 4-year deal. I don't know what his contract situation is as far as when the Carolina Panthers could get out of it. But Rico Dowdle, 27. Jonathan Brooks, in comparison, 22. So, so there is still hope, maybe, to go grab him. George jumps in and says, we'll never root for injuries, but he did trade away Daniels and Kraft 2 weeks ago. Would have been catastrophic for his roster.
That's luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'd like to know what you got back for that haul. Charlene, she's so glad she didn't drop Jordan Mason.
I was like, did he have a good week? But it's because Jones is hurt again. Because Mason didn't.
Well, so Jones had the AC joint sprain. They said it's a minor one. He's likely able to play in week 10. Jordan Mason's going to come up a little bit later, Charlene.
We will talk about him there. Zach, saw a doctor say Daniels possibly 3 to 4 weeks, but maybe a couple weeks longer if it's ligament damage. The MRI, from what I understand, has not come back and confirmed anything, but everything I'm seeing is it's possibly season injury.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
At this point, honestly, the Commanders are 3-6. Why would you want to bring Jayden Daniels back?
You're going to lose 3 of the next 4.
Here's the question, and I get the NFL, for the most part, is never give up. But you're down 5 minutes left in the game. You're down by 31 or whatever the score was. Why are we? Yeah. Okay. So we're all in agreement that he should not even have been in the fucking game.
No.
Okay. George, y'all feel good about Shakir as a flex going forward? He's commanding 6 to 8 targets per game. You just have to pray he gets in the end zone.
100%. That's what he is. He is the perfect wide receiver free flex option.
Yeah, we said it all off season.
Yep.
He's a top 36 guy and more 30 to 36.
That long touchdown he broke last week shows what he's capable. I love Khalil Shakir, and he's a vacuum. He just does not drop the ball. So,
yep. Marcus says London and Higgins for Dowdle and Cook.
Or Cook.
Okay.
I would not give up both for either. But if you can do London for Dowdle, London for Cook, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I say try not to throw in Higgins. Maybe you have who else does he have? Maybe Josh, would you do Brian Thomas Jr. over Higgins?
If I could do that, yeah.
So here's what I would do. Start with Higgins and BTJ for one of these 2 running backs.
Yeah.
And then change Higgins to London if you have to. Try to keep one of these 2.
Niners lost Mikael Williams. This team is a shell and still winning somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I don't know how. And even Kyle Shanahan came out, I think it was yesterday, and said that Brock Purdy still isn't close to playing.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he put on IR? Like, seriously.
Wait, when did he say that? After the game?
Yesterday. Yeah, after the game.
Oh, because before the game, all the reports were week 10. So that's wild.
Yeah. Like, he was talking about how he wasn't close to playing in week 9.
Wow.
I was like, if he's not close to playing in week 9, how's he going to play in week 10 or 11?
He said that. There has been some weird IR usage. We've been texting that back and forth.
6 games. Like, why is he not on IR? Like, what are we doing? Fucking terrible.
We've talked about this with the Bucky injury, a couple other injuries where they were out for 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever, and they didn't use it. Use the IR spot. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
It does not.
Weird, fucking weird. All right, let's get over to the hangover of the week, the disappointments, and I'll give you a list. I love starting off with this guy's name as a disappointment. Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kamani Vidal, Tyrone, Tracy, DK Metcalf, and Josh's favorite tight end, Evan Ingram.
Just to let you guys know how the sausage is made, I go in and I look at projected points and I put the players towards the top who had the worst duds. If they were already a bad player, I didn't include them in this list. Evan Ingram's the exception because I wanted to include one tight end, and I'm not going to call Tucker Kraft a dud. Wasn't his fault. So Evan Ingram makes the list just so we can have a tight end on the list.
All right, Josh, I'll let you start this one off.
I'm going to go Alvin Kamara.
Yes.
I mean, I was talking about him as a top 15 running back this season. Currently sits at RB 27 overall, and in points per game, RB 36. He's averaging 9.2 fantasy points per game. He has not scored more than 12.6 fantasy points since week 2 when he scored 16. He has 3 straight games under 7 fantasy points. He has 1 of his last 5 over 10 fantasy points. And for a guy who makes his living catching passes and seeing targets, has only 34 targets in 9 games this season, which, if you can do some math, that is less than 4 targets per game. And oh, by the way, he has scored 1 touchdown on the season. The Saints are 1-8. There's a lot of rumors floating around about trades, how Kamara doesn't want to go anywhere, and if he's traded, he's going to be sipping pina coladas on a beach. His production was supposed to go up when Kendre Miller got hurt and landed on IR. The last 2 games, he has 8 and 7 touches. I get it. This was Tyler Shugg's first start. He's a rookie. There's going to be some bumps in the road. This was not a good matchup against a really good Rams front 7. But it's like they're not even trying to get him the football. Like, maybe they're auditioning Olave and Rashid Shaheed for trade pieces. Maybe that was the goal here. I don't know. But this team is A, not good, and B, even worse on the road. They're 0-4 away from the Superdome.
Wow.
5 of their final 8 games are on the road. So they should be trailing and throwing the football, blah, blah, blah. They're not even throwing to Alvin Kamara. I think we can make the case that Kamara is droppable at this point.
Ryan, I got a question for you, and I don't even want Josh to enter this conversation. In a dynasty, would you trade for Kamara and give up a second?
No.
Okay, then I'm automatically declining this offer that Josh sent me the other day.
Dude, I sent you that like 2 weeks ago.
I know, and it's been sitting there. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I know it's going to end up coming up, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to hold it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I have Kamara in Dynasty, and I cannot move him at all, and it's pissing me off.
Yep,
yeah.
100%. One more thing on Kamara, though. He fumbled with like 5 minutes left in the third quarter and saw one.
So you're literally making my case for me.
But he saw one touch
Kamara,
after that.
Kamara strikes me as a guy who's going to obviously be playing for a different team next year, and he is going to have some.
He just signed an extension.
Come on, man. That doesn't matter. He's going to be playing for a different team next year. The first month of the season, he's going to score 20 fantasy points a game, and everyone's going to be like, the Saints are fucking stupid. Everybody's going to buy him in fantasy, and then he's fucking cooked after that.
Ryan, who is your hangover of the week?
I jumped the gun a little bit in my being a hater of the Bears-Bengals game, but I do think we need to be mildly concerned moving forward about Rome Odunze. The targets have been there every week outside of this week. So again, I'm just kind of focusing on since the bye. And again, this might have been me setting myself up for failure here. Those first 4 weeks, I said Rome Odunze is a top 10 wide receiver. I am bought in. And I'm not even talking about Dynasty. In Dynasty, he's still a top 10 wide receiver. In redraft, rest of season, I just was bought in on this kid. Coming out of the bye, he has 11 catches in 4 games. 7 of those came in 1 game. He had 1 good game against Baltimore. There is no story that I could write where the Bears score 47 points and Rome Odunze gets 0 fantasy points. I cannot make it make sense. And then what I've been doing is just kind of looking at, again, I'm really focusing coming out of the bye. I think I have so many weird players I could tell you who have scored more points than Roma Dunze coming out of this bye, Olamide Zaccheaus being one of them. But I think my favorite is that Roma Dunze, since coming out of the bye and half PPR scoring, has 23.2 fantasy points. Puka Nacua has 23.1 in that same span. Puka Nacua has played 2 games, and one of those games he got hurt. That's how bad Roma Dunze has been. So moving forward on this inconsistent team, I'm not going to tell you Roma Dunze is not going to have pop weeks. You're never going to catch me telling anybody to drop Roma Dunze. I'm just saying he's not a wide receiver 1. I'm barely comfortable plugging him in as my wide receiver 2 right now.
I mean, that's essentially what he is. He's an upside wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
With boom bust potential. Like, I love what Index puts here in the chat. Roma Dunze replacements were drafted as a high priority when the new head coach showed up. I would agree with that, except Luther Burden's not even playing.
But that's another issue. That if he's not even on the field, then how the hell? Ryan, you brought up he's got one good game. He actually has 2 because he played pretty good against Detroit in week 2. But
I meant one good game since the bye. He was great in the first 4 weeks. Amazing in the first 4 weeks.
Out of the 7 games that he's played, he's got 3 with more than 5 catches.
Yeah.
It's woof. And we drafted this guy pretty fucking high.
Well, it's the reason he's front of mind for me. I did not have the foresight to be bought in on Roma Dunze as a rookie. I wasn't there. So I have almost no Roma Dunze in fantasy. I'll be perfectly honest. But I do this DFS show with Austin every week, and Austin just keeps plugging him in to his cash lineups. And I'm like, bro, fucking stop. Like, you're hurting yourself at this point.
I feel the same way when I put a fucking 4-leg parlay and I'm like, 4 catches, that's all I need. That's a smash. That's the only fucking prop that didn't hit.
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing?
It's that funny thing that we joke about when we yell that the websites have mispriced a player. Maybe they know a little bit more than what we're giving them credit for.
So bad. All right, let's get back over to the chat. Jonathan Brooks, Marshawn Lloyd following this same injury prevention protocol, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Brandon Aubrey can get me 20 points. I'm desperate, Zach says.
You got the only way this is possible
is if they don't score touchdowns.
And if 50-yarders are worth 5 points to you, if you have to be in a distance league. I think everybody's in a distance league nowadays. If you're not in a distance league, first of all, change your league rules. Second of all, you're not getting 20 points.
I've got
Brandon Aubrey has something to prove now. Shout out to Cam Little. Brandon Aubrey's going for 70 tonight. So.
Speaking of Cam Little hitting the record, did you see, and I don't know who posted it, but directly after that game, it was like the little NFL letter from the NFL with Cam Little's name on it and the date. And it was he had been chosen for the league substance test.
I was literally talking to one of my coworkers. I said, anytime these guys do anything to break some kind of record, have some bomb ass game, like they end up with those notes for drug tests like right at their locker.
I'm not going to pretend to know anything about kicking, but I watched a video about this yesterday. First of all, I found this hilarious. After Ravens kicker hit the 66-yarder, people put out videos saying that it would never, it humanly couldn't be broken. They thought it was an unbreakable record.
Cam Little kick would have been good from like
71, easy.
Like,
yep.
Shit.
But this is what was weird.
Didn't he hit a 70-yarder in the preseason?
In the preseason,
yeah.
Yep. But here's what's weird. Tucker's kick. I don't know anything about kicking, so I'm going to sound really dumb here to people who do. Tucker's kick, he did some special stance that lets kickers put extra power. It makes you less accurate, but it helps you get more power behind it. Cam Little's 70, he did the same thing. This 68, he used his regular kicking stance and put that ball through. Shout out to fucking Cam Little.
Yep. Kickers are people too.
Zach does chime in. It is a distance. It's 5 for 50, 6 for 60.
You might get 12 out of Brandon Aubrey on 2 kicks tonight. I'm not as worried for you as I originally was, Zach.
There we go. Let's see. What's up, guys? I have CD and Ferguson going on bye this week.
Yeah,
I need a week in real way. Besides Loveland, who are the 2 waiver wire ads? I need to target a tight end and a wide receiver, full PPR. I will preface this with check us on Tuesday when these 2 get together and give you the waiver wire show at 11.
I gave someone tight end suggestions in our chat today. I'll quickly throw out the ones that are off the top of my head. Mason Taylor and somebody else have a mediocre matchup, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Oh, it's Loveland, actually. Mason Taylor and Loveland, because the Giants actually aren't terrible against the tight end. If Hunter Henry's out there, I like Hunter Henry. If Jawan Johnson's out there, I like Jawan Johnson. I'm really only going to be able to give you tight end. I haven't really dug into wide receivers at all yet. Actually, those would be the ones. So I don't mind Loveland. I don't mind Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor should be on waivers in your league as well because of the bye week. And then I do think Hunter Henry taking on the Patriots is it's an interesting week for him. And that's my very high top level research. I have not dug much in yet. So
K. Dotton going up against.
Yeah, K. Dotton against the Patriots. Patriots do give up a lot of points. And let's not forget, Otten coming out. Otten had a decent week 8, didn't he, Jay? And then
he's had a good couple of games with all the wide receiver
last couple of games with having the injuries to the wide receiver room. For the last 4 weeks, I mean, he's averaging 12 and a half, 12 or so.
Yeah. So shout out to Samwise in the chat. So
yep. Charlene says she could use a big game from Aubrey as well. Index, when are they going to start doing walk-off trick kicks?
I love that. Let's do that.
That would make kickers more relevant. Right. I'm all for it.
You don't even need to do
it would make me give a shit about kickers.
You don't even do trick kicks. Don't allow ties. Play normal overtime like you would. But if there's a tie, you put each kicker at the 40-yard line, but they have to kick at the same time. They're opposite each other. Nobody knows what's going on. First guy who misses, it's over.
Oh no.
Oh, do it like penalty kicks in soccer.
Yeah, no, Ryan. We've got to do it where they're facing the exact same direction so that we can see the balls do this.
Oh, you're kicking at the same goal.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes, absolutely. 100. Low key going to drop a Bam for Otten. I like it.
I've been saying all week, this Bam night against this porous Dallas defense is an absolute trap. They are not going to be able to run the football because Dallas is going to put up so many points.
I still disagree with Josh, but I actually agree with this move because Trey Benson does come back next week. Make that drop. So
yeah, I mean, I'm good with it because, like I said on Saturday, Start Sit Show, Start Sit Different Day. If you haven't seen that, go back and check it out because I brought up this week. I believe Brissett is going to be hyper targeting these wide receivers. The Arizona Cardinals have not had a single wide receiver 1 week at all. This is the week for Marvin Harrison Jr.
100%.
So don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe over here on YouTube. If you're on Apple, Spotify, or other platforms, make sure you hit the follow so you can see all of our content. Again, if you want to get to the front of the line, throw your super chat at us. We'll be happy to get you up to the front. And again, join us over in the Discord as Josh is dropping that link. Let's get to the shot of Espresso. The quality performances they got, the juice is flowing. I'll give you a few of these guys. You guys can highlight them as you want to. Honorable mentions for today, Joe Flacco, nice job in a loss. Sam Darnold, big day. Matthew Stafford, Geno Smith, Michael Penix Jr., Kyle Monangai. If you'd have heard us on Saturday, you'd have played him. Rico Dowdle, if you'd heard us on Saturday, you would not have played him. Ashton DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Troy Horton, if you'd have heard us on Saturday, you'd have played him. Parker Washington, another one you would have played. Alec Pierce, Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta. Josh, let's start with you.
In fairness about Rico Dowdle, that question, they had a loaded running back room, and he was just the odd man out. So I just want to preface that. But we were, at least I was saying that Dowdle did have a difficult matchup against Green Bay, which
we thought.
We thought. Green Bay apparently just turned into a pumpkin. But anyway, my shot of espresso is Colston Loveland. We're staying with the big game in Chicago. Or was it Cincinnati? I don't remember what the fuck it was. But anyway, Loveland scored his first 2 career touchdowns this week, had his first game over 38 receiving yards this season, and he put up 118. Loveland scored a lot of comps to Sam Laporta when Ben Johnson drafted him and how he was going to be used. He's been splitting a lot of snaps with Cole Kmet this season. Komet missed one game last week, left early this game. Loveland played 81% of the snaps in both of those games and saw a route percentage over 70% in both of those games. He's getting more involved in this offense. The biggest issue for Loveland and his future this season, how consistent is Caleb Williams going to be and what Caleb Williams is going to show up? That is the biggest hurdle here. But this is what I love when it comes to Colston Loveland. His next 3 games, home against the Giants, who allow on average of 14 fantasy points per game to the tight end since week 7. At Minnesota, who allowed 19.3 fantasy points per game to the tight end since week 5. And then home to Pittsburgh, who allowed 20 fantasy points per game to the tight end position since week 5. These are 3 smash matchups for Colston Loveland to reach this kind of ceiling. Now, if you're aiming to start tight ends against the Bengals, I highly encourage you to do so, because Cincinnati has allowed 12 tight end touchdowns this season. The next closest team has allowed 6. Wild. By the way, the next few tight ends to face the Bengals after their bye week in week 10, the Pittsburgh Collective, New England, so start your Hunter Henry in week 12.
Yep.
Baltimore, fire up a Mark Andrews 2-touchdown special. Buffalo, Dalton Kincaid, love that. And then, oh, by the way, Mark Andrews again. So if Mark Andrews is on waivers because you listened to us over the last few weeks, go pick him up for the stretch run to get you in the playoffs.
If you're streaming tight end, might not be a bad idea to go buy Mark Andrews, though. This is a tough week to buy him.
Real quick, it is confirmed, breaking from Ian Rappaport, Tucker Kraft, ACL out for the year.
They figured it was an ACL, so that's a huge blow.
Yeah, that is a huge blow, as we suspected. Ryan, you didn't just go with one guy.
So I started off with Drake London because he was going to be my cover athlete this week until the game went the way the game went. We try to only pick winners for the cover athlete, which sounds really, really terrible. The thing about me with Drake London, everybody who knows me about fantasy football knows I love a tall wide receiver. This is the kind of game I want to see out of Drake London. I love when players. What's that?
6'7"?
6'7" is great. Yeah. Oh yes, 6'7". Yes, let's do it. I'm way too old for that.
I love how 4 white guys over 40 are talking about 6'7", and not even 20-year-olds know what the fuck that means.
Yeah. I had no clue until last week. I had to ask a teenager what it was.
But I love these tall wide receivers. Mike Evans is my favorite wide receiver, literally, of all time. I adore Mike Evans. And when Drake London got drafted, I was like, oh, it's my new Mike Evans, because I knew the train was coming to an end. He's been hit or miss, but another favorite thing of mine is when players perform coming out of a bye. I think that is super important. So for London to come out and do what he did and go watch those 3 touchdown catches, every one of them is worth watching again, even if you watched them yesterday. But we also cannot ignore the breath of fucking relief that Brock Bowers managers got to take after this past week. 13 targets, catches 12 of them. I'm not going to do it right now. I could give you a list of tight ends who haven't caught 12 balls this season. Brock Bowers comes out of this injury, comes out of this bye, 12 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Shout out to Brock Bowers for making us believe in the fantasy tight end again. I was not going to let the whole show go by and not talk about Brock Bowers. So 2 of my absolute favorite players. 2 players that
I texted you guys after the 4 o'clock games. I'm like, holy Brock Bowers. Yeah. Maybe he belongs on the thumbnail.
Yeah. So, and he probably should have, but again,
they lost.
We knew what game everybody was talking about. But what a week. People are talking about it being the worst week in fantasy. 2 of my favorite players, Drake London and Brock Bowers, combined for 6 touchdowns, and I have them on so many fucking fantasy teams. It was a great week.
I was going to say, I have both of them on our Leap of Faith Dynasty team.
Yeah, there you go. So
love that.
I was very happy. Drake London, I literally was jumping off my couch every time he scored a touchdown. I have him in my league of record. It was a week I needed to see from Drake London, and my God, he is just such a good fucking wide receiver.
So
Shout
we,
out to
we
Clemson.
we all know Ryan doesn't watch the full games. He's watching it on Red
Red
Zone.
Zone.
So I'm imagining Ryan not sitting down for like an hour and a half.
That's basically what it was. Like
right as he goes to sit down, he's standing back up again.
Well, my wife sits next to me on the couch for the 1:00 games, and I was like, I always do shit to this to her. Like I was like, oh my god, if Drake London scores this touchdown, I'm smacking you on the ass. And she's like, you better just stay the fuck away from me.
I'll hit my guy real quick, and he was a breath of fresh air. 37-year-old Matthew Stafford. Last 5 games, Josh said it earlier, 1,400 yards, 16 TDs, 0 interceptions. Since week 4, he's averaging 29.9 fantasy points. That's third among fantasy QBs. Oh, and week 10, he gets the 49ers.
Whoa.
The last time he played the 49ers, 389 and 3 tutties.
Yeah. Not to mention Jackson Dart just went off on him. So.
Right?
I love this comment.
Go ahead, pull it. Let's go. Matthew Stafford rested his back.
No shit.
And to put him on. Yes.
No shit.
100%. Zach jumps in real quick. Bam Knight and Aubrey to get 65 in his other league.
Well, if you let hater Josh tell you, it's not going to happen. But I think Bam Knight will get 65 on his own tonight.
All right, moving on. What order would you place these Jayden Daniels replacements? Darnold, Trevor, Fields, McCarthy, Rodgers, Geno, Penix, Mariota. Also going to try to pick up Flacco while on bye to play the matchup for Trone. That's a lot of damn.
Flacco and Darnold, those are the 2 that you want.
Yeah.
Flacco and Darnold are big. I'm not completely out on just adding Mariota. But yeah.
So
McCarthy didn't look bad. If you're gambling, gamble on the rookie. I'm using quotations there. My face is covered up.
He had one good game earlier and then shit the bed. Like,
definitely true.
Kind of what you're getting with McCarthy. It's going to be a very up and down season.
Yeah,
I'd rather
Flacco is on the bye.
Yeah, they said that he says he plans to try to get Flacco hopefully for cheap because he's on the bye.
Yep. I'm just kind of looking at the list and seeing what everybody has as far as who their matchup is. I mean, Mariota's got Detroit. McCarthy has Baltimore. Yeah, I think Fields has got – who does Fields got next week? Jesus Christ.
Well, Fields is his own detriment.
Yeah, I'm not investing in Fields whatsoever when you consider the fact that he could easily lose this job before it's all said and done.
Yeah. I'll put this up here, but Sam, jump over into the Discord. We can talk more about the sophomore quarterbacks over there. Let's see. Smitty says, remember when I asked you guys, should I trade Jayden Daniels in a 2-quarterback league because I'm tired of all the injuries? And you guys said, no, hold him. So he's basically ruined this.
Guess what? I'm in that dynasty league and I screwed you over. I'm joking.
This is the kind of stuff that sucks in all honesty, because like, it's really easy to say that, oh, well, he got injured once, so he's going to get injured again. And it's just going to be an injury riddled season. Right. So sure, sell him, but then you're selling him at lower than what you drafted him at, right? Like, nobody likes to get the lower ROI, but it's also a 2-quarterback league. Quarterbacks are valuable. So it's just so difficult. And again, like, who thinks of a dislocated elbow?
Yeah.
Like, that's just a freak injury.
Yeah, shout out to the curse of the Washington QBs, apparently.
Dude is getting broken in half, man. Like, and I said this heading into the season. The Commanders, all they did was invest in older veterans. What do older veterans do? They get hurt.
They should have traded Terry McLaurin.
That's really what they should have done. They should have just traded him.
Yeah.
But, is what it is.
Sophomore quarterbacks are hard to trust. There's no predicting their system and how each game is going to go. 100%. Craig Lennox jumps in. Drake London saved him with 48 points. Vidal and Dobbins didn't help this week.
I play in a league where I can only start one running back. It's my big 32-team league. I bought J.K. Dobbins this week. And then I had Kyle Monangai. I don't even start Dobbins. Monangai goes off. So I was like, oh, yeah, that was a waste. I could have just held on to Monangai this whole time. So,
yeah. Brock Bowers said, get some.
No shit.
Both of my tight ends, not many points this week, Warren and Kittle.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to dig into it as much as I want to. Other than Brock Bowers, kind of a weird week for tight ends. Like, obviously, Colston Loveland went off, I don't want to say carried, but a 58-yard touchdown to end the game helps things out. Dalton Kincaid had a good game. But then you start getting into, like, Mark Andrews had a good game. He got 2 fucking balls. They just happened to be in the end zone. Like, strange week for tight ends.
Yeah, 16 tight ends still scored 10 or more fantasy points. Like,
yeah, we're getting to the point where
when you look at who actually did it, that's where you're like.
But you're right, Josh, because we're finally getting to the point, and I'm going to use the guy who we've been using for a while as the example, Oronde Gadsden. We're getting to the point where in PPR, there are volume tight ends that actually matter again. It's not just touchdown or bust anymore. So.
All right, let's get to one of the last segments, one of the favorite segments that I like. It's Panic or Chill the Fuck Out.
Yeah, boy.
Dud, that was merely a blip on the schedule. Maybe. I'll give you a list, and you guys get to tell me whether you're panicking or chill the fuck out. Let's start at the quarterback position. QB 6, overall QB 9 in points per game. Daniel Jones, 5 turnovers in week 9. The Colts as a whole, I believe, only had 4 turnovers.
Yeah, I saw
in
that.
the original 8 weeks. QB 18 on the week, just 4 games with 20 fantasy points. Clock struck midnight on Jones. Or is he still a top 7 fantasy option?
Top 7's tough. I'd still put him probably in my top 10. I'm going to chill out on Daniel Jones here. Pittsburgh defense, while they're not the vaunted steel curtain, I think I don't have my numbers right in front of me. They're at least top half of the league in both sacks, interceptions, and forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. What they did to Daniel Jones is what they do very well, and they give up points. They didn't do that terribly, but overall, when you look at what Jones has done this season, I think he's earned a little bit of trust. He's coming off of a 3 touchdown, no interception game. As Jay has pointed out, he hasn't turned the ball over much this season, and he found the rushing end zone again. 5 rushing touchdowns this season. With the rushing upside that Jones is providing and just how good this team is overall, if I'm holding Daniel Jones right now, I'm chilling out.
I think he's more top 10 versus top 7, but this is what I will say. His schedule has been really easy this season. Now you're getting to the meat of the defense. Next week, they get the Falcons in London. Then they have their bye. Then they're at Kansas City. They get their first of the 2 games against Houston, at Jacksonville, at Seattle, versus San Francisco, and then to close out the fantasy season, they're at home to Jacksonville. So, like, there's an opportunity here where you're not going to see a lot of 20-point games from Daniel Jones.
It's fair.
So I'm not going to go so far as saying that he turns into a pumpkin, like we're going to get New York Giants Daniel Jones with all the turnovers. But you look at Houston, you look at Seattle, those are teams that will cause a lot of turnovers.
It also kind of gives shades of Sam Darnold last year, where Darnold balled out, got you into the playoffs, and then lost.
And then sunk you in the fantasy playoffs. Yep. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, let's move over to the running back position, and let's go with Jordan Mason. RB 31 in points per game, had 10-plus fantasy points in 4 of 5 games without McCarthy at quarterback. RB 25 in points per game from week 3 to 8. Aaron Jones has been the back the last 2 weeks, and Mason scored 6.3 points in those last 2 games. Is Mason still an RB2, meaning top 24 running back?
No, I'm panicking on Mason. I was panicking on Mason before we ever even got into this. Did we lose Jay? Because he is like, oh, no, maybe we didn't. Sorry, Jay, you were holding perfectly still. I was like, what happened there? Regardless, I'm panicking on
listening to exactly what Ryan Weiss has to say about Jordan Mason, because I currently have him in one of my fantasy leagues that I don't know what the fuck to do with.
I'm not overly concerned about the Aaron Jones injury. They're calling it minor right from the rip. This was always going to be a timeshare. Even when Jones was out, they were getting this Xavier Scott involved in the passing game. I'm panicking on Jordan Mason, but again, I didn't really have him. I wasn't bought in to begin with. But what I don't like when you look at Jordan Mason, when he had the backfield to himself, He had
It wasn't lighting the world on fire.
He had one good game. He did score touchdowns in two others, fumbled the ball twice, lost one of those, never had more than 16 carries. I was going to say 20, never had more than 16 carries, and not getting involved in the passing game at all. He's not doing the things you want out of a bell cow. I would say I'm panicking, but this is, putting it bluntly, what I expected out of Jordan Mason. I'm certainly not.
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of people that were bought into Mason as a top 24 running back simply because of what he did in that small stretch filling in for CMC. And that's why I wanted to put him on here, because again, like the last few weeks have been dog shit. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, he was an RB2 while Aaron Jones was out. But yeah, like if you're holding him, and I do have him in one dynasty league, but you know, it was a depth piece. And I'm like, oh, I'll milk this cow while I've got it. But yeah, like, you're not going to get top 24 production out of him.
Correct.
And even with all of the injuries that are befalling this position, he's not springboarding you into any level of new stratosphere. Like, there's nothing going here. And he's not involved in the passing game, offers minimal upside if he's not scoring touchdowns. And the Minnesota Vikings, as an offense, don't score a ton of rushing touchdowns. That was always the big worry with Jordan Mason in this role. So, yeah, I'm definitely panicking on Jordan Mason.
Very, very fair. Let's get over to the wide receivers. Wide receiver 23 overall, wide receiver 22 in points per game. Deebo Samuel. Now that Jayden Daniels is done for the season, Terry McLaurin not expected back until, week 12?
After week 12.
After week 12? Okay. Is Samuel a top 24 rest of the season?
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to put on him. I don't have the numbers in front of me to say this with 100% certainty. He has 3 receiving touchdowns this season. They may have all come from Marcus Mariota. Certainly 2 of them came from Marcus Mariota. So I'm not overly concerned. His best game of the year, week 5 against the Chargers, was definitely Marcus Mariota. I'm not concerned about Deebo Samuel. If I have him as my wide receiver 2, I'm going to keep plugging him in there. 6 targets this past week, 6 targets last week, 5 the week before that. The yardage hasn't been there. 26 yards the 2 games coming into this one. Deebo Samuels is a weird guy. They use him weird ways, but I think the volume is going to be there to keep him relevant, certainly in PPR leagues.
I mean, he has 3 receiving touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. I mean, there's nothing sexy about him at all. Like, 6 targets each of the last 2 weeks, 11 yards and 41 yards. Like, what are we doing? I just don't see much upside here. And I feel like with this season lost, I could see a scenario where Deebo Samuel gets dealt in the next 2 days.
I'll give you that.
Maybe that helps Deebo's value.
49ers might be able to use him.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. But yeah, like, I just don't. Mariota, this offense just needs to run the football. They just need to run, play defense. Like, this is what they should be doing. But, like, I don't see it.
Shout out to Index of Sus, who just one-liner after one-liner with everything we say. I love it.
Ryan, you brought up the fact that, yes, maybe in previous years, Deebo was somebody they used all over the place, running, whatever. But since the, week 4 game, he's had one rushing attempt. Through the year, all year long, he's only had 7.
Yeah, they're definitely not running him. I meant more gadgety, using him behind the line of scrimmage, but you're absolutely right. That could be misconstrued. They're not running him. Certainly not the way we thought they would, definitely not the way the 49ers ran him. So
3 straight games under 10 fantasy points. That's not even a top 40 wide receiver.
Yeah, he gets the boost on those games that he had the touchdowns in, and that's it. Let's move over to tight end. Tight end 24 in points per game, 2 touchdowns in 3 games, excluding the one that he got hurt, and 2 of 3 games, 12 fantasy points. No games over 45 receiving yards. And yes, I'm talking about George Kittle. Is he a top 5 tight end rest of season?
No. God, Tucker Kraft, I guess, going down.
And that's why I wanted to put this, because you're losing a top 5 tight end. Obviously, we get Bowers back. McBride has been there. Jake Ferguson has been a good volume guy. Arondé Gadsden has made a big leap. And then you've got some other options later. Like, solid streamable guys like your Hunter Henrys, even Juwan Johnson to a certain degree. Mason Taylor seeing a lot of volume.
Mark Andrews, if he catches touchdowns.
Mark Andrews, if he keeps scoring touchdowns. Dallas Goedert, who just can't stop scoring touchdowns.
I think when I took Kraft out of my rest of season, Goddard moved up to my tight end 5. It might be Kittle still, though. Goddard might be my 6. I wouldn't call him a top 5 out of perception. Statistically, he might be, but not like the way you think top 5 tight end. If I have Kittle, I'm not like itching to make a move. Like you have a guy you can plug and play every week. You're just not going to get the better performances that you're used to. I will say, I wasn't thinking about this until, 37 seconds ago. If the 49ers were to acquire Deebo Samuel, that does get ugly for Kittle as well. Again, there are no rumors about this.
No.
Josh made a joke. I made a joke back at Josh, but now I'm worried about it. That's just the kind of person I am. So,
I mean, I think the perception of Kittle could very easily change if and when Brock Purdy comes back.
Well,
right?
And that's what we said. We said that all last week about the 49ers is like, don't judge this until we get there. But when the fuck are we going to get there?
And that's kind of the point, is like they haven't put him on IR, but he just keeps missing games. And quote, he wasn't close to playing in week 9. So like, if he wasn't close in week 9, how close is he going to be in 10 or 11? Like, I just don't. It legitimately worries me, truthfully.
Yeah.
Like, if I had Kittle, I would not feel comfortable, is what I'm getting at. Like, I would be playing the streaming game.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not panicking, but I'm also not chilling. So I think you got a good story. I think you're right, Josh.
I just, for the people that are hanging out over on Twitter and watching it, y'all need to jump over to the YouTube so you can see some of these comments that Index is putting in. I know Ryan shot him out a minute ago, but good Lord, I love it. That's fucking awesome. Let's get over. Let's actually look at some of these comments here. Let's see what McBride can do tonight. We'll talk.
He's dropping a 40 burger tonight, baby.
Of
course, it's probably going to be in a tight end premium, but that's where I need him to score 40 points. So I'll take it.
Nah, I think McBride feasts.
Drake May only 6 points this week.
How did he not make my duds? How did I miss that?
That's what I'm looking
trying to figure out. No, he had like 20
2 touchdowns in it. Yeah, he had.
Oh, okay. I was like, bro.
I mean, he was QB 15. Like he had 16.4.
Suspect says Jordan Mason was not even on his draft board.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, the fantasy community had told this narrative coming into the season that Jordan Mason stole this job from Aaron Jones. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. I was a contrarian voice to that. I was drafting more Aaron Jones because he was falling everywhere, and I wasn't going to overpay for Jordan Mason. So,
We Buy Houses has a question here. It says he has Daniel Jones as his QB1. Should he roster Purdy or Sam Darnold in a standard league 6-point passing?
Well, you're getting 0 points from Purdy, so I think this answers the question itself.
Yeah, I think I'm good to grab Sam Darnold as a backup in that league, just if you have concerns about Daniel Jones.
And with all of the injuries over there in Washington, the moon, he's not sexy, and you know it. Yeah. These are some great one-liners. Oh my Lord. Let's see. Worried about Rome. Somehow I'm winning both league matchups this week. Anyways, played Stafford and Darnold. Dropped Caleb after a frustrating.
Woods Girl, we sincerely apologize for dropping Caleb.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
especially on the verge of his best week as a pro.
And that's the one thing we did fuck up on is like the Bengals are historically bad. You don't drop it, and I'm not busting your balls, Woods Girl. I'm yelling at us. And again, blame us.
Had to do it, so.
Don't say you dropped him because of his sporadic bad play. Be like, I dropped him because those idiots on Club Fantasy said Caleb Williams was droppable every fucking Tuesday. It's our fault. Trust me.
Yeah, make sure you're calling Ryan out and
100%. We've done it multiple times this season where we did it last year too. We're becoming the kiss of death on telling people to drop people and then they pop. So
she comes right back with picked up Torrey Horton.
Woo!
Game. Wish Cooper Kupp would just go away.
so many people do.
I'd like to see who your other option is, but I don't mind. Oh, okay. I dart over Caleb rest of season.
Yeah, that was actually, I think, in response to some other things that were going on in the chat a little bit earlier where someone said they didn't regret not playing Caleb.
Yeah, that was George.
They started Dart. That was George. There you go.
I literally started Dart over Caleb too. So
I started Drake May over Caleb, and I'm still not mad about it.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they flat out dudded. Like the one league where I started Dart over Caleb, I think Dart had almost 28 fantasy points, and Caleb had 41. So yeah, like there's a big difference, sure, but like you're not mad when you get 27 points from a quarterback. Like I wouldn't be.
Nope. What's gross is some people are risking it for the Brissett tonight.
There you go.
Yeah. Ryan, this one I guess I want to send to you real quick. Kraft drafters should be looking at AJ Barner out there in Seattle.
I don't remember who they play in week 10, but Seattle has a great matchup for tight ends in week 10. The only issue that I have with AJ Barner is 3 catches for 24 yards this week. Elijah Arroyo, 2 catches, 29 yards and a touchdown. It was a pretty nice touchdown as well. So it's just, they're kind of split. And I stay away from split situations. As Josh pointed out, the Pittsburgh Collective has a really good matchup with the Bengals coming up.
But who do you start?
Who the hell are you going to start? Except all 3 of them, apparently, because we've seen that in a game already.
Arizona at home.
Yeah, great matchup for tight ends. Absolutely. Yep.
All right, let's get over to the Monday night game tonight.
Yeah,
there's only one game, thankfully. It is the Cardinals at the Cowboys. ESPN Bet has the line set at 3.5.
That feels so low.
Favoring the Cowboys.
That feels so low.
Over under a 53.5.
I would take the over, and I would take the Cowboys on the spread.
Yeah, I think
3.5 with Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback. Like, I know Dallas's defense is bad, but like this is an offense that might only muster 24 points, and I've said it repeatedly. Dallas averages over 40 points scored at home this season.
Smashing the over.
Yeah, I think that, yes.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Last week, I went 3-0.
Woo!
We are back on the positive side of 500 at 16-15 for the season. I will drop my 3-leg parlay in the Discord directly after the show. But tonight, I'm on Trey McBride. I got this earlier in the week.
I was about to say, that's an alt line when I looked this morning.
Nope. I got it earlier in the week. 49.5 is the receiving yards. The line right now is at 67.5, and I would still take it. I would absolutely still take it. He missed out on National Tight End Day because he was on a bye. He's only missed this line twice, week 3 and in week 5. 2 straight games over 70 yards receiving. And like I said, I would be fine with taking the 67.5 right now.
Yeah.
Ryan, Josh, you guys got lines for tonight?
I have 2 actually, but go ahead, Ryan.
I'm getting weird. Jacoby Brissett over 15.5 rushing yards. He's actually done this in both of his last 2 starts. This is going to be a weird game where, as you guys have pointed out, they're likely to have to throw a lot more than they're running. Well, guess what? When a mobile quarterback like Jacoby Brissett has to throw, there's also going to be times when he has to tuck it and run. 26 yards last week, 19 yards the week before that. Or, well, I guess it was all 2 weeks ago because of the bye week. But I think Jacoby Brissett running the ball tonight, 15.5 yards could happen.
So I've got 2. We're going to take Javonte Williams. It's essentially an anytime touchdown, but underdog, you can't say that. So it's higher than 0.5 rush receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
In every home game this season, Javonte Williams has scored a touchdown. I will reiterate, Dallas has not scored fewer than 40 points at home this season. Now, if you want to get really spicy, check this alt line of CeeDee Lamb higher than 99.5 receiving yards. You get a little bit of juice on that at 1.2 times. Only 2 wide receivers that I would actively bet on to go over 100 yards in a game, and that is JSN and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Lamb has crossed 100 yards in 3 of his 4 games this season, and I'm excluding the week 3 game when he left early and didn't see a single target. Last week was the only week, and he played Denver. That is a tough matchup. A Cowboys receiver has cleared 100 yards in every home game this season. Lamb has done it twice, and the one game that Lamb missed at home, George Pickens went over 100 yards.
Yeah.
And I will say it one more time. Dallas has not scored fewer than 40 points at home this season. It is going to be all offense this game. I'm all in.
We're not a sports betting show, but I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do with this CeeDee Lamb thing, just so you guys can maybe play along if you want. It's called ladder betting. I'm going to go find what CeeDee Lamb's line is. I'm going to throw $5 on his line. Whatever that $5 can win me, I'm going to do what Josh said here, and I'm going to tier it up to get up to him over 100 yards. So let's say his line tonight is what? Probably 78 yards if I had to guess off the top of my head.
Actually.
Yeah.
I believe it's I just had it pulled up too.
Regardless.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll throw $5 on 78. Let's say that's going to pay me $4.
83 and a half.
83. So then I'll put 3 of those $4 on 90 and whatever's left on 100. So that way, if he hits his line, I can't lose money. I broke even. And then as he climbs the ladder, you win money back. Little fun thing I'll do tonight. And if you can combine, DraftKings does bets where you can combine players. Look for Marvin Harrison, CeeDee Lamb combined lines for tonight. I feel like you can have a lot of fun with that. So,
yep, I will throw this at you. Trey McBride's line right now has dropped down to 66.5. But this is what I just did as we do this show. I always throw our props that we bring out onto another card, and Javonte Williams over a half a touchdown. Jacoby Brissett 15.5 rushing yards. CeeDee Lamb at 100, so 99.5. Trey McBride 66.5 because I said I was comfortable at 67, so I'll take it at 66. $4 entry brings me $40. So I will take that just to add that to the card tonight. And I love Ryan's ladder there as well. Let's get back over to the chat real quick, and let's end this show with Bills have a trio of tight ends.
Yeah, they get this Jackson Hawes kid involved way too much.
Woods Girl says she thinks long term Caleb might turn back into a pumpkin. He came out of his pumpkin costume for Halloween.
Yeah, Woods Girl came in about halfway through the show. You'll see Angry Ryan at the beginning of this show. I completely agree with you.
After the Joel injury, I'm looking to offload Omarion Hampton and Quentin Johnston Jr.
How snake bitten is the Chargers offensive line right now?
Yeah, it's bad.
It's rough.
This is the second time this season that Joel's had a high ankle sprain.
Yep.
What did he miss last time? Like 3 games?
4
games?
4. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to suck. How do we rank these tight ends rest of the season? PPR. Kittle, Godson, Ferguson, Kincaid.
I would move Ferguson to the front of the line easily. I think I'm going to take Gadsden over Kittle. So Ferguson, Gadsden, Kittle, Kincaid.
That's how I would do it as well.
That's fair.
You'd honestly rank them the way you had them. Okay.
It's not. I think we're discounting how good Jake Ferguson has been because of how bad he was last week. So.
And again, I think a lot of it is name value with George Kittle.
Yeah.
Yep. Fanning at New York next week, or Banner hosting Arizona.
That would be
Ferguson is on by.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Banner.
This isn't Bruce.
Bruce Banner.
I'll take the person whose role is secure, and that's Mason Taylor.
You mean Harold?
Or Harold Fannin, sorry. Well, now I sound like an asshole because his role isn't secure. Somehow I turned it into Mason Taylor in my head.
I think Fannin's role is secured. He's not losing anything to Njoku.
That's true too, because they have no wide receivers.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, it's
almost like Jerry Jeudy sucks.
While I'm an idiot, it's still Harold Fannin.
Agreed. It's Harold Fannin for me as well.
I want to Josh like agree. You are an idiot.
Brian Oder wants Gadsden counter Armin Ra Gadsden for Bijan, Juwan Jennings, or Pickens Gadsden for Kyron and Shakir. Thoughts? His running backs are banged up, and he has to start Kareem Hunt and Bill.
I mean, I don't love trading Amon-Ra, but Ryan, I know you would give up Amon-Ra for Bijan because you're a running back guy.
Would I though?
I
would. I would.
History tells me you would.
I would. Their
I
first
would
round
want
picks.
Juwan Jennings back though.
That's the part that has me bugging here. Could you get Shakir? Is it the same manager? Maybe Bijan Shakir, I guess.
I
don't know.
Wouldn't even do that.
I don't think I'm making this trade either. Do you not need Gadsden? I don't see that in your chat anywhere.
Well, I'm guessing he's the one that they're the one that roster McBride, and they have Gadsden.
Oh,
That's the way that I'm reading this.
I assumed that the McBride wanted Gadsden, and I'm like,
which
why?
would not make any sense to me because McBride's already had his bye. So
yeah, that was mad weird. You do need Bijan. If you need to move Gadsden to get Bijan,
I would do that in a heartbeat.
I would try. Yeah, first of all, maybe do that trade, but they want Gadsden, so I would say try to get Shakir back. Just mix and match. I mean, I guess yeah.
But I also would be fine trading Pickens for Kieran. Honestly, you could do that straight up. Like,
yeah, Pickens.
I think you can get a better piece than Shakir for Gadsden, though.
I think
like,
that's fair too.
Again, the thing with tight ends is like if people don't quote know the names, they're not going to pay up for them. But you got to look at the production and look at where they're trending. Gadsden is trending up, plain and simple.
100%.
He's very involved in this passing offense.
With Tucker going down, Gadsden is a top 5 option rest of season, without a doubt.
Yep.
And now you're dealing with a left tackle injury. Gadsden is not playing a blocker. Let's be very clear about that. What Gadsden is going to do is give Justin Herbert a quick first read, which is going to be important. So,
yep.
Ryan, I want to bring this up. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but third, I asked why the low trust in Kittle.
That was more Josh than me. I said I'm okay with Kittle. I'll let Josh take it, though.
A lot of it is that offense is, I don't even want to call it dysfunctional, but like they're leaning so heavily on Christian McCaffrey that Kittle's not seeing any kind of volume. And if that's the case, my issue with Kittle has always been he is a traditional tight end. He's not one of these split out wide running 70+% route participation in every given week. He's barely at 50% routes every single week. So like you need him to be the first read option on all of these plays. With Mac Jones at quarterback, he's not that. Like he's looking at McCaffrey, who is going to set records for receiving production from the running back position.
If you forgot how good Christian McCaffrey is, he reminded you this week.
Yeah. So like Kittle's gotten a couple of touchdowns here and there. Cool. That's awesome. But you don't bank on touchdowns. Touchdowns are not fluky. That's why I have an issue with Dallas Goedert because he's only scoring touchdowns. That's why I've had issues heading into this season with Mark Andrews because all he does is score touchdowns. And again, Eagles fan telling you I have an issue with Dallas Goedert scoring touchdowns.
I have issues with every tight end not named. Honestly, I have a top 4 right now. Gadsden, Ferguson, McBride, and Bowers because
they're all volume.
Yep.
They're all volume guys. George Kittle is not a volume guy.
No, Christian McCaffrey took that role, and it goes
Plus
back.
He's over 30 years old, and he's already suffered one injury this season. If we haven't learned,
he used to make his money on Yak, and he's not doing that anymore either. So,
yep.
Before I bring this comment up, I need Parker to jump into the chat before every week going forward and let us know who he's trading for. He traded for Neighbors week 1.
Oh, no.
1 week before ACL. Traded away McBride last week because he drafted Kraft.
Oh, no.
Kraft, he gets a Kraft ACL. First week he gets a stardom. Now he is letting us know he's traded for Gibbs, Vidal, Odunze, and BTJ 1 week before the shoulder injury. Please, Parker, if nothing else, at least DM me and let me know who you're trading for so I know who not to.
Dude, that is some colossal bad luck.
Also, can I get your Venmo so I can ask for a refund on all of my DFS plays this week because you screwed me, Parker. You screwed me, buddy. I'm not even joking when I tell you that I had a lineup with Vidal, Kraft, and Jahmyr Gibbs in it.
Oof.
That is not a joke, folks. Parker did this to me, Parker. Why, Parker?
Way to go, Parker. Way to fucking go. What an epic 70-point week. He can kiss his playoff spots.
Unless you are sitting at 2 wins, your playoff spot is not dead yet. Just
Not
keep
yet.
fighting, keep setting your lineup, and stop jinxing players.
Last one for the day. Rest of the season, Flacco played all season. Would you prefer him over Caleb?
How could you not? Like, I'm not. And again, Woods Girl asked such great questions, so it always sounds like I'm yelling. How could you not? With what all Flacco has done is set the world on fire for 3 consecutive weeks now? Yes, for sure.
Right now, Flacco is Dak Prescott. When you have a bad defense, you are throwing the football a ton. And when you have weapons like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you can't not start them.
Look, up until this week, remember, he was traded to Cincinnati on a Tuesday played that Sunday. Up until this week, he's now thrown 2 interceptions with them. He hadn't thrown an interception in the first 3 games with them, and he had 7 touchdowns. Flacco is absolutely the play. I see a couple more coming in real quick, so we'll get to them. Going back to Atlanta Outdoors, he has Gadsden. His best wide receivers, Metcalf, Shakir, and Jennings. I told him Shakir or Jennings. I have Ertz benched. I'm fine with
it. I think we're on the same page. I think Amon-Ra and Gadsden for Bajan and Shakir, I think, put you where you want to be coming out of this.
Hell, I'd rather have Metcalf. You kidding me?
So I redid his rest of season rankings. 100 targets he's on pace for this season. I'm just not loving that.
Shakir's going to be right around the same amount.
Yeah, he's going to catch all of them, though.
Who's going to have more touchdowns? Metcalf's going to score tutties. That was the whole thing with Metcalf.
I haven't compared them player for player. That's not what I did this morning, so I could take a quick look at that. But
he had a solid game yesterday. 2 of 4 for 6 yards for Metcalf. It's solid. Parker says, I got you. Lost my first fantasy football championship 2 years ago because I traded my opponent, Butker, before the final. He had 25 points.
Never trade with your opponent. That's what I would tell you.
Kudos to
Metcalf.
Kudos to Josh to know that Metcalf and Shakir are literally having the same fucking season. 49 targets each. Metcalf is slightly ahead because of touchdown. So,
yeah, Metcalf's got 5.
Yep. Shakir has 3.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. Remember, hit that like, hit that subscribe over on YouTube. If you're on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, hit the follow button. That way you never miss anything we're putting out. Jump over in our Discord. We will see y'all. The next show will be tomorrow morning. These 2 clowns get together to tell you who you are adding to from your waiver wire. Until then, enjoy. Have a great Monday.